Hi everyone again. I'm super happy being here and delivering this talk. My name is Bobur. We're going to talk about today how to write the API gateway plugins, especially custom plugins using our favorite programming language, Java. So, and also about myself a little bit, I am a developer advocate, also open source contributor to Apache APISIX, and I'm doing some talks, writing blog posts, and delivering and demoing some cool stuff around APISIX. Don't forget to connect me on LinkedIn if you have any questions regarding session or just join a call and with a cup of coffee, we can discuss new technical stuff around APIs, right? And today's agenda for this session, we will start with a short intro. What's the APISIX API Gateway? For those who knows API Gateway, it would be easier topic, but I'm going to also explain a little bit what's the API Gateway in general. And we go also overview of existing plugins in APISIX, what you can do with plugins, and what are the cross-cutting concerns you can enable. And I'm going to show also low-code plugin orchestration for those who doesn't like to write the code. You can also use a UI. So, and also we'll jump to custom plugin development, of course, in Java using Java plugin runner. We developed it as an open source project. I'm going to also demo this new plugin runner with a new plugin, how to write this plugin from scratch. I hope this time will be enough to show everything for you, but if it's not enough, I'm going to leave you some guidelines and helpful references. You can always learn more. So if we talk about APIs, nowadays APIs are everywhere, right? Because APIs are very central in building and also developing your services. And when we talk about APIs, each service nowadays today uses APIs or they are API itself. And also even ChatGPT nowadays, like OpenAI, provides some LLM models through the API, so you can access this API and do some magic and build AI applications. That's when AI comes in, API also usage also growing. For those who is thinking still like API is gonna be in the past, it's not correct because APIs will be more important with introducing with GPTs or introducing with LLMs. And we know also success of your any service or any product you are building depends on in the APIs, integrity, availability, and performance of your APIs. And because if these three indicators are in place, which means you have successful service or successful APIs. My question to everyone here, how to achieve these three indicators of success? There are many ways of achieving that. Of course, someone says we need to monitor continuously. We need to develop from the beginning very well-tested APIs. But one of the solutions I'm just thinking and bringing today is you can also use API Gateway to achieve successful APIs, to build successful APIs. Because API gateways are in the middle. So in today's world, we know we usually create multiple microservices, multiple APIs for a particular product, and the client application usually need to consume functionality from more than one microservice or just a service. Maybe service can be also serverless APIs, or it can be REST APIs, maybe database APIs, and so on. But API Gateway serves as a central point for routing all the incoming requests from your client application to the intended destinations or maybe third-party services. In other words, it's just a single layer between user clients and your backend service. So when you think about this like it's a single layer and like a door opening your backend APIs to the world, you can also improve API gateway functionalities using plugins. Plugins also additional components that easily you can plug into API Gateway to add extra features. For example, when you're using APISIX, you must be faced with multiple types of plugins. Currently, we have more than 100 plugins, built-in plugins, which are enterprise level used. I mean, it's for free. And also you can enable authentication, security, observability, some transformation plugins we have to achieve everything you want. But sometimes, of course, you need more customization. We'll go to there, how to customize and how to build the plugins. But another also point, like using the API gateway is important for centrally observing your APIs, because it uniquely identifies which traffic is going from where and to where it's going. And it is a very good place to enable observability without creating or enabling, extending your existing APIs by connecting to other observability platforms like Prometheus, Skywalking, OpenTelemetry. You can use the pre-built-in connectors that API gateway providers. Most of the modern gateways, they have this feature. You can leverage this connector easily to ingest log data centrally from your API gateway to further derive all the useful metrics, and you can also gain some complete visibility into some sort of usage, and also it can help you to manage performance and some security, right? Observability is everywhere. I mean, everything is using it. And what about APISIX? I started talking about APISIX and API Gateway. Once we know what the API Gateway, APISIX is also one of the fastest growing API management solution under Apache Software Foundation. Maybe you are already part of this community. You know Apache Kafka, you know Hadoop, Cassandra, Tomcat, so on. If you are already contributing to any of these ASF projects, please write in the chat which project you are contributing to. I'm also contributing to multiple projects, including, as I said, APISIX. Why is APISIX is good for me? Like there are some other API gateway providers. We have Kong, we have the rest, but the APISIX gives some flexibility for us to build our custom plugins. So even if APISIX initially was written in Lua programming language, I don't know Lua because I'm a Java developer. I don't want to even learn, but some of the like a core features still you need to implement in Lua, but you can also use other programming languages to build your custom plugins by using existing plugins. We are supporting nowadays Java, Go, JavaScript, and Python programming languages. And also, as I said, we have a community dashboard, a UI dashboard is also free to use. If you want to not like a coding, but using the dashboard, drag and drop some plugins to build new plugin. You can maybe orchestrate multiple plugins to build your own one. It's also possible with APISIX. This is the APISIX dashboard. You can check and take a look how it works. It completely removes our curl commands and programming on the side, but you will be less code and no code environment. So let's talk about a little bit of architectural level, like how this APISIX internally works. It consists of, as you can see in this picture, data plane and control plane. Control plane just store and synchronize gateway data configurations, like we use etcd. We are not using any relational databases or NoSQL databases because it's a little bit, in the performance-wise, it's a little slow. That's why etcd is a perfect choice, like Kubernetes uses, right? Because APISIX also provides a Kubernetes ingress controller. That's so our choice was etcd. And the data plane, for example, also responsible for dynamically routing the traffic to different backend services. In the middle, you can also add some plugins and also add some additional functionalities. And APISIX originally based on Nginx. And it supports multi-instance deployment, which means there is no single point of failure. People, some architects, they talk about, okay, API gateway is just a single layer. So when it fails, we'll lose all the connections with client application. That's not true because there are multiple types of deployment modes for different production use cases. We have many our customers, I wouldn't call them customers, open source users. They are building very complex stuff and complex deployments they have. In this case, for example, they're using sometimes traditional mode where you can deploy both data plane and control plane into one instance. And we have also decoupled mode where you can just deploy both data plane and control planes separately, but they can also use a single APISIX instance. But another standalone version is very good for local development where you don't need any storage like etcd, whatever storage you need, but you can use YAML files, static YAML files, where you can write your configuration into YAML file and then it reads from YAML file like a Kubernetes does. So once the deployment once it's clear, let's talk about multi-language support. And there is architectural diagram I'm showing in the screen. As you can see, left side for you, I think the right side. The figure shows some the workflow of APISIX. The plugin runner on the right side also refers to some existing plugin runners we have. And as you can see, APISIX has a Java plugin runner. As we are talking about today. When you configure, for example, plugin runner in APISIX, APISIX automatically starts sub-process to run a plugin runner specific for a programming language. An APISIX process in plugin runner runs into the same process, so it can manage all this communication. When we restart or when we reload APISIX, plugin runner will be also reloaded and restarted automatically. One of the cool things, we have this hot reloading, which means compared to other API gateways, you don't have to stop your running instance to add additional plugin or to remove the plugin or maybe to update your YAML file. You don't have to stop. A service still runs and hot reloading happens in real time every second. It, for example, checks all the updates in your YAML script and brings all these changes automatically. Even you can convert from your OpenAPI specification for APIs and create the APISIX configuration just programmatically. So this is about a little bit of plugin runners. Let's talk about how the inter-process communication between the APISIX and Java plugin runner works. As you can see in the picture depicted in the diagram, we use Unix domain sockets. So there are plugin runner lifecycle, we say managed by APISIX, but it makes use of these socket files to exchange the information and exchange the data between Java plugin runner and APISIX project. So, for example, if you they send the data to Java plugin runner, it always looks for the information inside the socket files, which is very fast. You can in practice it works very fast. So what about building your development environment to start with this plugin runner? As I said, we are using two different projects. APISIX, we have a project on GitHub. You can also see that on the slide, the link on GitHub. And we have also APISIX Java plugin runner, another GitHub repository, another project. But you can run them simultaneously to build some new plugin in Java. But make sure that if you're using Docker, you just deploy two instances, two containers maybe into one network so that they can able to communicate with each other. Let me explain maybe more in the Java world how it works. Let's say we have APISIX Java plugin runner on a project, and to start with writing your first plugin, you should use a plugin runner that provides interface like plugin filter. We have interface, so developers can easily implement by abstracting all the internal technical details, how this APISIX communicates with socket files. It hides this, but you can just implement plugin filter and start to develop your custom plugin by following very easy steps. I'm going to show these easy steps. So first thing, you need to give a unique name for your new plugin. For example, today we're going to create like a token validator plugin. Respectively, you see the name is for the plugin is token validator. And just implementing via string method. and we are returning the the plugin name. Token validator, what it does, if the user sends some sort of JWT token to APISIX, any sort of token, APISIX should be able to validate with maybe third-party service, or maybe with your internal service, if this token valid or not, if it's expired or not. This is a very common, I think, the scenario in the API world. So there is also existing plugins, but we're gonna create our own to show you how it is easy with Java Plugin Runner. So, and then once you have plugin name, you start to design. It is the plugin properties, maybe filtering logic. We have this filter famous method in Java, so we can write what kind of logic you want in the by chaining separate logics by maybe sending one output of one logic to as input to another. You're gonna see an example of this filter implementation soon, and then once you implemented some logic, if you provide this the filtering logic and provide the plugin name, you also provide some declare some Nginx variables, because APISIX use Nginx variables to identify what kind of variables you need from Nginx. You need to check like documentation of the APISIX to understand like what are variables you can use. For example, you need to sometimes specify a remote address of your API gateway, or maybe server port, and so on. And next step is if once you define and implement your token validator plugin, you need to configure something on APISIX side also. You need to create a route, because when you talk about API gateways, any API gateways has three very basic things you need to know, like a route, plugin, and upstream. So routes, which means like you just provide some rules how API gateway should route your request to the backend services. As you can see in this example, we are using our external plugin, our custom plugin, Java plugin, and whenever /get request comes to the API gateways also fires a token validator plugin to check the token before sending the request to upstream with ID1, which means you have one sort of backend service, but you can have also multiple backend service in this scenario. So, and now I'm gonna show you shortly also the demo I have for you. Let me jump to demo. I have recorded to make sure that we don't have any failure here. So if you have, in the meantime, questions, please feel free to comment in the chat, and I will switch back and we can discuss more other details. So here's a video record I have just did before the session. So this is APISIX Java Plugin Runner repo. You can maybe also now open the browser and find it. It's not like very famous yet. We need still like more contribution from the community side to support this plugin, because more nowadays I see the plugin runners. Plugin development are going to Wasm development. Like some people, they prefer Wasm. We have also Wasm development support. But Java, as a Java developer, maybe you prefer to use your own language. In this case, like as you can see, I'm showing like some documentation. You can also read out like whatever explained. There will be more detailed explanation how this communication works. First thing, you need to just clone the project and open the project in your favorite editor. I was using the IntelliJ editor to run my project, and then as you can see, I also broke the screen two sides. One side is I'm just showing the terminal, what's going on. On the right side, we have token validator implementation with a plugin filter, but we are not going to dive into the plugin runner internal implementation. I'm gonna leave in the reference of the slides where you can see implementation report to understand more in code. Token validator plugin, as you can see on the right side, it implements plugin filter, and whenever some request comes, it does extracts the token from there and sends this token to another service to check if it's valid the token or not. Actually, one thing is you need to also remember like enabling before running debug mode, dev mode, this plugin runner. We need to enable these VM options. That is one thing. VM options, what I mean, you need to specifically show where exactly the socket file is located and in which port it's exposing the configuration to make sure that Java plugin runner can find this socket file and then take this configuration from that socket file and send this data to Spring Boot application. So Java plugin runner is actually Spring Boot application, as you can see. So in this case, I'm running two instances, left and right side. One left side now, the APISIX project, and right side is a Java plugin runner. What I did, I just run a Spring Boot application with my token validator. And on the left side, I need to also say to APISIX, hey, I'm going to also use my custom plugin with existing plugins, and I should show the path where APISIX can find my plugin runner or my new plugin. So in this case, I'm just providing the socket file, the reference to help the APISIX to find this token validator plugin. So, and then once both projects are running, and maybe in debug mode, you can start to test your application. For example, you can send a curl command with the same like creating route, as we have seen on the previous slides, and then this token validator actually starts to work as a plugin. So we when we send a route, we configure the route for APISIX. When we send the route now the request to APISIX, APISIX automatically calls this plugin, and this plugin also checks how the token validator sends a request to the token validator, and token validator now is starting to process some data. As you can see in debug mode, it's also stopping, and then the filter method is receiving some requests from the plugin runner. So this is how the project, it's complex, a little bit like Java project, but at least like you can build some custom plugin for your use cases. But if you prefer to maybe make it a little bit easy, we have also the plugin runner interface, like a CLI interface. You can also use CLI interface to enable the new plugin easily without this complex configuration. So this is about short video, the demo of the Java plugin runner, how it works. Now I would like to bring your attention to my previous slide to explain something more. As you can see in this picture, this is a Java. What is the next time in the future? We're gonna of course put some effort for the community development of Java plugin runner, and also most importantly is WASM. For the new plugins development, because now I see many community members are not happy with Lua programming language. Some people are even using like a WASM, and now we decide, okay, WASM gonna be the first number for first choice, and then we're gonna put some effort to improve our existing plugins. And if you are Python developers, of course, you can also use the Python the developer plugin runner. But in general, like existing plugins that APISIX has, it has almost all the common use cases. It's covered. You don't have to even build your new plugins. If necessary, of course, you can use a Java. But in reality, like in most cases, like it's a backend application, right? It's backend application you can build with a Spring or maybe using other frameworks. But the API gateway is able to manage all the traffic without any dependency on the technology side. So this is about the plugin runner in Java. The takeaways here from me, I'm gonna make it shortly. APISIX offers many built-in plugins for any sort of stack, but if you would like to create your custom plugins, please use a Java plugin runner. But if you prefer to use some modern programming languages or modern way of doing, we have CLI, we have also Wasm. So in this case, you will find yourself like very comfortable with APISIX project. So now we can jump to some questions. If you might have any questions, feel free to leave it in the chat. I will be more than happy to answer because it will be more engaging with the questions. So let's check the chat if there was any questions. Oh, let me check. There is no more. Okay. Yeah. So in case if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to me. And this APISIX is not about like Java programming. Also, we have more other things you can achieve with, for example, using Ingress controller and so on. So with that, I'm going to finish my talk. Thank you for attending. So see you soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Are there any questions remaining? Did you have a look in the chat maybe?
Yeah, I'm checking the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing so far. We have a bit long.
I'm gonna also leave now the demo project link. It's better. It's better to follow.
Perfect.
Java plugin because I believe maybe people would like to see in real world like how the things work. So in here the showcase I showed with the token validator plugin, and then this is a link to GitHub repo for Java plugin runner.
Perfect. So the people can go in the chat and have the links. They will stay in there as well. Yes. Okay, so another questions about the presentation slides.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, of course, I can always send the slides, but are we from the organizer side? Like, can we also send the slides link here, or are we allowed?
Actually, I'm not quite sure. Let me just double check that 1 second.
Yeah, if it is a no, I can just drop a link here, which is publicly available. So